the new mills and factories were being set up in India, and the money was being employed and generated in these units by the people who had made money from the Chinese trade. And we took the names of the few in the previous clipping. But what about the workers? What about the people who would actually work in these factories? Where would they come from? Now, this problem was solved by the peasants and artisans of the villages. The peasants, because they did not have full-time job in their agricultural fields, the production was low, the income was stagnant, and they were looking for an extra income. The artisans, because the local handicraft industry of India was totally crushed by the Britishers, so they too were in need of an alternative income. Therefore, this problem got easily solved by the peasants and artisans of the villages. If I talk a few examples, then the Bombay cotton industries got most of their labor from the neighboring Ratnagiri district. If I talk of the mills of Kanpur, then the rural Kanpur provided workers to the mills of Kanpur. So, here we see that wherever the big industrial units were set up, mills and factories were set up, the artisans and the peasants in the nearby villages flocked to get their employment, which means no problem as far as the workers are concerned. Now, when the workers were coming so many in number towards the cities and the jobs were also increasing, there had to be a middleman here too. And the person who became the middleman, or a person who was an intermediate between the industrialist and the workers, was called as a jobber. As the name suggests, jobber was a person who used to actually get jobs for the people. He generally was an old and very reliant person of the industrialist. He was a very trusted man. He provided jobs to the people who were coming from the villages. He tried to make them settle in the cities, tried to give them a place where they could reside, and he also used to borrow, he also used to give money to them during the time of crisis. So, he was like an old grandfather who actually saw to all the problems of the people who were coming from the villages. Slowly, he became a person of big power and authority. And he also started demanding money and gifts from the workers as a thankful gratitude that he had actually helped them in getting a job. So, that was a big jobber that was seen in all these areas wherever the mills and the factories were being set up.